Welcome back to the Triathlon channel. Today's video is about bike fits. So I just had a bike fit yesterday and I was lucky enough to get Garth from Vankru, who I've seen a number of times now. If you watch my previous video, you'll know I've had 9 bikes and they fitted probably, I think 8 of the 9, or around that number anyway. So I know them quite well now and I highly recommend them. So if you are down on the south coast of England, then definitely look up Vankru, and I'll put their link at the description as well. So the reasons why I thought I'd do this video was just basically when I started out, I really thought bike fits were for the professionals or elite athletes. I didn't really sort of see the importance of having one. I always thought you got a bike, you measured it up to your waist, and you put the seat to your waist and you're pretty much good to go. And I just grew up that way, and I think my very first bike I got for the triathlon, that's exactly how I fitted it. Then when I started looking into things and as I was progressing, I saw the importance of getting a bike fit, but more from an injury side of things, and especially from your performance running off the bike. So you can come, if the bike's fitted correctly to you, get off the bike and your running efficiency is going to be a lot better as well. So you can avoid injury, but also you can conserve energy while cycling ready for that run. So those are 2 of the main reasons. I've got a short clip on sort of what's involved in the bike fits, which you'll see in a minute in the video. And then, like I said, I was lucky enough to get Garth to answer some questions which will hopefully help you decide on getting a bike fit, which I highly recommend. There's different levels from a bike fit. Yesterday's one for me was a precision one, and there was a lot of data involved in that one. Historically, I've just had the sort of standard fit where it's all done visually and based on the experience from the guys at Vankru, and they'll adjust things accordingly. But since I've had my first one done, you straight away you notice a huge difference in your overall riding, just from being comfortable on the bike. So some of the things to sort of look out for to sort of understand whether you need one or not is knee pain, numbness in the hands and feet, shoulder pain, back pain, pretty much pain anyway. You shouldn't feel any pain when you're on the bike. And like I say, if you're comfortable and you're getting off the bike to go and run, you're just going to have a better run as a result. So I hope this video helps. As always, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video. So Garth, can you tell me why a bike fit is important?
Sure. It's probably what most people would say, and it's basically to be comfortable and get the most out of your bike. Those are the 2 reasons. Basically, void. So comfort, I mean, it can be broken down to avoid injury and avoid discomforts and just get the most out of the bike. But you could buy a £10,000 bike and it not be comfortable, and then you won't enjoy riding it. Yeah. So those are the two real reasons, and they can be explored a bit deeper. But comfort and efficiency, get the most out of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Injury prevention.
What is the most common problem you see when doing fits?
In terms of injuries?
Or maybe setup?
Setup? Okay, so setup. Typically saddle height would be a big one. So can
too high or too low?
A bit of both, I would say.
Okay.
I would almost say 50-50 with the clients that come in here. About a 50-50 split.
And injuries?
Injuries, knees and backs.
Okay.
Especially lower back. And then after that, but knee pain, all different types of knee pain. But those are the two biggest complaints. And then after that would be hand numbness, pins and needles, necks, and saddle. Saddles are interesting because a lot of people don't like to talk about what happens on a saddle. There's a little bit of a privacy or intimacy type of thing there. So you almost have to squeeze it out of them. You'll run through whatever else is going on the bike, and then you'll say, "How about the saddle?" And they'll quite often they'll say, well, "Actually, that's the reason why I'm here." But they allude to it. So numbness, pins and needles in both genders.
Oh, right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you need to go back after you've had it fitted?
So there should always be a revisit after a fit. For instance, we normally say a 10 to 15 ride adaptation period as a rough. Some are much longer, some are much quicker. And so that would, for most people, that's going to be 3 weeks, give or take. If they ride 5 days a week. But normally, if there's an adaptation after the fit, then we would say a month afterwards, come back in, let's check it. And if everything's hunky-dory, then you probably need a bike fit or a recheck of the position once a year, maybe once every 18 months. Riders change bikes, don't they?
Yeah.
Change bikes, change equipment, change cleats, change shoes, so that can all affect. And so it depends on the person. Some riders we see multiple times a year, like 6-7 times a year. Okay. Change cleats, change saddles, little things like that, and they want us to do it. But typically, if everything is fine, maybe once a year, a refit.
Okay. Yeah. And if someone can't afford a bike fit, what would be your closest recommendation to getting one?
So, other bike fitters will probably destroy me for this, but you could look at just other riders that you really like riding with. Look what they look like, and if they're riding without any injury, you could try and ask them or replicate that. I wouldn't say necessarily look at a pro rider because they're a different species to us. Yeah. But if you could do the old school things, sit on the saddle, put your bike on a turbo train if you've got one or next to a wall, sit on the saddle, put the crank down to the bottom and put your heel onto it. So that would give you this sort of extension. And then from that, maybe lower it 4 or 5 centimeters down, give or take, which will give you that sort of position. So saddle, that would be good.
So there's things you can do without having to get one, but obviously the recommendation is to get one. Yeah,
the recommendation is definitely to get a bike fit. But you can get it so it's comfortable, and then the bike fitter will dial it in so it suits you really nicely, and then you get the most out of it. Yeah. I've been fitting professionally now for 11 years, and I've never ever had a client that's come in and I haven't done something to it. So that speaks volumes. Yeah. And that's probably 11 years, probably close to 5,000 riders. So it's a lot of fitting time, give or take 3 hours of fit. 15,000 hours of fitting.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've never seen a rider that I've never had to do. Some are very small, and then some are big, but I've never seen anyone that's come in and said, you don't need anything done. Yeah. What else could you do? So I would try that. Sit on the saddle, heel on there, and then lower the saddle down 4 or 5 centimeters, give or take. You could do the old Greg LeMond one, which was take your inseam and then times that measurement in centimeters. So if it's, let's say, 90 centimeters, times about 0.883, I believe it is, and that'll give you a rough saddle height. You could do that. It is a rough one. There are some apps as well that you can download that are fairly good, you know. Otherwise, just, you know, like I was saying, if you ride with someone that you think is quite good and is not really experiencing any pain or discomfort, just look at them and see what they're doing, see their knee position and stuff. Or go to a bike shop, you know. Saddle staff are normally pretty good. We do I guess that's a bit of a sales pitch, but we do like an intro fit. So it's 40 minutes long, and it's for people that are not sure if they need one or not. So we'll get around, get some history, do an assessment, and then we can say, okay, you'll need a bike fit, and this is what we would do in the bike fit. Okay. So it's almost like a preemptive fit, and then the person comes in for a bike fit. Okay. Yeah. That's a good way of doing it as well. And then you're not forking out a lot of money that you're not sure of if you need or not.